Good day students. Today's nursing class is on morphology of bacteria. By end of the session, the students should be able to know what are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. They should be able to know about the bacterial cell morphology, that is their size, shape and arrangement. They should know about the cell wall, bacterial cell wall and its appendages. Looking into prokaryotes and eukaryotes, prokaryotes include bacteria, and eukaryotes include fungi and parasites like protozoa and helminths. If you look at the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, nucleus is very diffuse in bacteria, whereas it is well defined with nuclear membrane and nucleolus in eukaryotes. Cell wall is present in bacteria, whereas in eukaryotes, cell wall is only present in fungi but not in parasites. Looking at the cytoplasmic membrane, cell membrane or plasma membrane, in bacteria it is made up of phospholipids and proteins, except in the bacteria known as mycoplasma, the cell membrane is made up of sterols, whereas in eukaryotes the cell membrane contains sterols. The cellular or membrane bound organelles like mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum are present only in the cytoplasm of eukaryotes, but they are absent in prokaryotes or bacteria. The ribosomes present in prokaryotes are 70S in size, whereas in eukaryotes they are 80S in size. Look at this picture. On the left side you have the bacterial cell which has the cell wall. The blue color one is the cell wall, and then we have a cell membrane or cytoplasmic membrane bounding the cytoplasm. The black one is a cell membrane, and the mustard color is a cytoplasm which is having the nucleus which is ill-defined, which is not well organized. It's known as nucleoid, and the cytoplasm is also having the ribosomes. And some bacteria have an outer capsule which is a protective layer present in couple of bacteria, and some bacteria also have the flagellum, the black colored flagella, which is organ of locomotion. Looking to eukaryotes, which include fungi and parasites, the cell is they do not have cell wall. Only fungi have the cell wall, whereas parasites do not have cell wall. They have cytoplasmic membrane which is bounding the cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm is having well organized nucleus with a nucleolus which is made up of RNA, and the nucleus is having the chromosomes, the genetic information, and the nucleus is bound by a nuclear membrane, and the cytoplasm is having membrane bound organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, etc. Looking into bacterial cell morphology, which is the size, shape and arrangement of bacteria. The size of the bacteria is measured in the units known as micrometers, and 1 micrometer is 10 to the power of -6 meters, that is 1/1,000,000th of the meter. On an average, the bacteria is usually 3 to 5 micrometers in length and 0.5 to 1.5 micrometers in diameter. Looking at the shape, the bacteria can be cocci when it is spherical or oval in shape. When it is rod-like, it is known as bacilli. When it is intermediate in morphology between cocci and bacilli, it is known as cocobacilli. Example is an Acinetobacter. Then it can be curved or comma shaped. Example is Vibrio. Some bacteria are spiral forms like spirochetes like Treponema pallidum, and couple of bacteria are filamentous, branching and filamentous. Example Actinomycetes. Looking into the arrangement of the bacteria, the cocci, that is a spherical or oval shaped bacteria, either are in singles or they are in pairs. When they are in pairs, they are known as diplococci. Example of diplococci bacteria are Pneumococcus and Neisseria. The cocci are in chains, which are arranged in chains. The example of which is Streptococcus. The cocci may be arranged in groups or clusters. Example Staphylococcus. Looking at the bacilli, bacilli are usually single. Example Escherichia coli. Some of the bacilli can be in pairs known as diplobacilli. Example is Klebsiella granulomatis and some of the Moraxella catarrhalis species. Moraxella catarrhalis bacteria. Some bacilli are in chains, example Streptobacilli, and some are in palisades. That is, they are arranged like a fence, the fence which is outside our houses. So they are arranged like have a fence-like arrangement known as palisade arrangement seen in Corynebacteria. Looking to the bacterial cell structure, the main cell components are the cell wall, the cytoplasmic membrane, plasma membrane or the cell membrane, then the cytoplasm, the ribosomes, the mesosomes and the nucleus, and some cell appendages which are present are the capsule, the flagella and the fimbriae or the pili. Let us first learn about the bacterial cell wall. Its functions are it confers rigidity to the cell, bacterial cell, and it gives shape to the bacterial cell. It takes part in cell division and it provides protection to the bacterial cell against toxic substances and osmotic lysis. And they also have virulence factors like gram-negative bacteria. They have virulence factors like endotoxins in their cell wall, which protect the bacteria from the host defense mechanisms. What are these host defense mechanisms? That is, host is nothing but human being. When the bacteria enters the human body, there are certain defense mechanisms working against to kill the bacteria. So presence of these virulence factors protects the bacteria and causes damage to the human body. Now, based on the gram stain separates bacteria into two groups based on their cell wall composition. One is gram-positive bacteria, which appears purple, and other is gram-negative bacteria, which appears pink. Looking to the composition of the cell wall, the gram-positive cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, lipids, and teichoic acid. And the gram-negative cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan and the outermost membrane, which is phospholipid in nature, and it is also made up of lipopolysaccharide. So what is a common thing in both the cell walls, gram-positive and gram-negative cell wall? It is the peptidoglycan. So let us know more about peptidoglycan. So peptidoglycan is a component present in the cell walls of both gram-positive bacteria and gram-negative bacteria, but it is thicker in gram-positive bacteria and thin in gram-negative bacteria. And the peptidoglycan is composed of three components. The first and the main one is a backbone, which is composed of two sugar derivatives. One is N-acetyl glucosamine and other is N-acetyl muramic acid, both of which are alternating and they are linked by beta glycosidic bond. Next is a tetrapeptide side chain. Tetra means four. Four amino acids are in the form of a chain which are linked to N-acetyl muramic acid. And the third one is a peptide cross bridges which connect the tetrapeptide side chains, and these peptide cross linkages are only present in gram-positive bacteria. They are not present in or absent in gram-negative bacteria. Let us look at the diagram. So you can see the slanting black line, which is a backbone made up of two sugar derivatives. The green one here in the picture is N-acetyl glucosamine and the grey one is a N-acetyl muramic acid, which are alternating and linked by beta glycosidic bond. And you can see that from N-acetyl muramic acid a tetrapeptide side chain is extending. Here it is depicted by different colored balls. And then you also have a pentapeptide bridge or a pentaglycine bridge, the purple colored amino acids, 5 of them, penta means 5. This structure, the pentaglycine bridge, is only present in gram-positive bacteria. It is absent in gram-negative bacteria. Looking into gram-positive cell wall, so it is made up of peptidoglycan, lipids and teichoic acid. You can see in this picture, the cytoplasm is bound by the plasma membrane and external to it is a cell wall, and you can see there is a thick peptidoglycan, many layers of peptidoglycan made up of NAM and NAG derivatives are present, and you can see teichoic acid, which is a major surface antigen. Teichoic acid, and there is also a lipoteichoic acid which is extending from the plasma membrane. Okay, this is a structure of the gram-positive cell wall. Looking to gram-negative cell wall, yes, it has a peptidoglycan layer which is thin, which has a backbone of NAM and NAG sugar moieties attached by beta glycosidic bond and a tetrapeptide side chain. But there is no pentapeptide cross bridges present. Then there is an outer membrane lying outside the peptidoglycan, which is phospholipid layer, and it serves as a protective barrier to cell, and it has many porin proteins in it known as outer membrane proteins or porin proteins. Then there is a liposaccharide polysaccharide layer externally lying, which consists of lipid A or an endotoxin, which is a virulence factor, core polysaccharide and a O antigen or a O side chain. Okay. So let us see the picture. Here's look at the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is bound by the plasma membrane, and external to this is the cell wall. So you can see that the peptidoglycan is thin, and then there's external to peptidoglycan is an outer membrane which has these poring channels and outer membrane proteins in it, and there is a lipopolysaccharide which is composed of lipidae, core polysaccharide, and the O side chain or the O antigen. So the bacterial cell wall is a very important question. Next, moving on to cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is having what? It is lacking all the membrane bound organelles which are present in eukaryotes. It's composed only of water. It is having ribosomes. Ribosomes are the sites of protein synthesis and some inclusion bodies, and mesosomes, which are sites of bacterial respiration. Moving on to nucleus, we already discussed the nucleus in the bacteria or prokaryotes is not well defined because it has no nuclear membrane, it is very diffuse, and the nuclear material is present as nucleoid, which is having the genetic information, the chromosomes or the DNA, and this nucleoid can be demonstrated by electron microscopy. And apart from this nucleus, the bacterial cells have some extra chromosomal DNA known as plasmids. What is this extra chromosomal DNA? That is outside the main nucleus are also some chromosomal pieces known as plasmids, which help in transfer of genetic information from one bacteria to other bacteria. Here you can see these circular ones are the plasmids, and the diffusely arranged nucleoid is the main nucleus of the bacteria. Looking into cell wall appendages as capsule, flagella, fimbria and spore. The capsule, I said it's not present in all the bacteria, it's present in some bacteria, and it is an amorphous and viscid layer lying outside the cell wall. What do you mean by amorphous? It's not well organized, that does not have a definitive shape, and viscid is it's sticky in nature. Why? Because it's polysaccharide. It is made up of polysaccharide, and it prevents, what is its function? It prevents phagocytosis by macrophages. The human body has defense mechanism. So they have certain cells which protect against the bacteria entering into the body, one of which is macrophages, which engulf the bacteria entering into the body. So the presence of capsule will prevent engulfment of phagocytosis by macrophage. It prevents complement mediated bacterial cell lysis. Other defense mechanism present in the human body is a complement. It's a protein which kills the bacteria once it enters into the body. But presence of capsule will inhibit complement mediated bacterial cell lysis. Some examples of capsulated bacteria are Pneumococcus, Meningococcus, Klebsiella and Haemophilus. And examples of capsulated fungi are Cryptococcus neoformans. So scientists have also made vaccines against by using the capsule as a main source. So there are capsular vaccines available against Pneumococcus, Meningococcus and Haemophilus influenza bacteria. And how do you demonstrate the capsule? Already we have studied that it is demonstrated by negative staining, where you use India ink. So you take a glass slide, place a drop of India ink or Negrosin, any stain, then add the clinical material into it and place a cover slip and observe under the bright field microscope. How does it appear? The bacteria is not stained by the stain, so only the background is stained and it appears black, whereas because of the presence of capsule, the capsule appears as a clear halo around the bacteria because it is not stained. And there are some other methods of demonstration in capsule and other bacteria, like Macfadyen capsule stain for Bacillus anthracis and Quellen reaction, which is used to demonstrate Pneumococcus in CSF or sputum samples. So this is a negative stain. We've already seen that you can appreciate the capsule, which stands as a clear halo around the Cryptococcus, and there's a dark background. Macfadyen reaction to demonstrate Bacillus anthracis capsule. For those who are interested, this Macfadyen reaction is nothing but you make a blood smear of the patient who's suffering from anthrax, and then you add polychrome methylene. You stain this with polychrome methylene blue, and when you look under the microscope, the capsule around the anthrax bacillus appears as a purple amorphous material. Next is Quellen reaction, wherein to the CSF sample of the patient suffering from pneumococcal infection, you add a anti-capsular antibody which goes and binds to the capsular antigen, and the capsule is swollen up, which can be seen under the microscope. Next, let us look into flagella. It is a thread-like appendage which protrudes from cell wall. We discussed that it's not present in all the bacteria, but when it's present, it's an organ of locomotion which confers motility to the bacteria, and it's composed of protein subunits known as flagellin. Looking to the structure of flagella, if you see here, the one which is attached to the present within the cell wall, embedded within the cell wall, is the basal body. Then next is the hook, the red component you can see here in the picture, which is short, which is flexible and curved, which is linking the basal body and the filament components of the flagella. Next is a filament, which is a longest portion of the flagella, which extends from the cell wall to the top. It is very rigid and cylindrical and made up of protein flagellin. Examples of from some motile bacteria are E. coli, Proteus, Vibrio, and Spirochaete Treponema pallidum. How are these flagella arranged? There are various arrangements of flagella. The flagella might be present only at one pole of the bacteria when it is known as monotrichous arrangement, seen in Vibrio cholerae and Pseudomonas. It's called lophotrichous arrangement when there are tufts of flagella at one pole or one end of the bacteria. Example is Spirillum. Peritrichous arrangement when the flagella are present all over the body of the bacteria, seen in Escherichia coli and Salmonella typhi. And amphitrichous when it is only present at two ends or two poles of the bacteria. Example is Alcaligenes spicalis. And how do you demonstrate this flagella? You can see under dark field microscope, phase contrast microscope, or electron microscope. And we also studied about hanging drop method to demonstrate the motility of the bacteria. There are several other methods, but it will be sufficient if you remember these. Looking into fimbria or pili, they are fine hair-like appendages which are thinner than flagella and shorter compared to flagella. They are made up of protein known as spilin, and their main function is they are organs of adhesion. When the bacteria enters into the body, it can adhere to the human cells with the help of these fimbriae. Okay, and there are some special fimbriae in certain bacteria known as sex pili, which help in attachment of one bacteria to the other bacteria, which aids in transfer of genetic information from one bacteria to other bacteria by process known as conjugation. And how do you detect these fimbriae? By electron microscopy. The next is a bacterial spore. We already discussed that bacterial spores are formed when the bacteria are exposed to unfavorable environmental conditions. There is no nutrition available to bacteria. What happens is it converts into a dormant or resting form known as spore form. And the bacterial spores which are formed within the parent cells, as in bacteria, are known as endospores. Looking into the spore structure from innermost to outermost, the innermost layer is the core, which is surrounded by the cortex, and then it is a spore coat, and the outermost part is the exosporium. If you see this picture, the grey part is the core, the white part is the cortex, the maroon part is the spore coat, and the bright red colored part is the exosporium. So process of formation of spores from the vegetative bacteria is known as sporulation. And when does sporulation happen? When the surrounding environment is unfavorable, when there are no nutrients. So when the nutrients are provided, what happens? The spore converts into the vegetative bacterial cell. So examples of bacteria which form spores are, please remember, there are two bacteria which form spores. One is Clostridium and other is Bacillus. And the shape of the spores can be spherical or oval, and there is also variation in the position of the spores in certain bacteria like Clostridium. They can be terminal, that is to one end of the bacteria, subterminal, little away from the end, or central, when they are in the central portion of the bacteria. Let us look at the picture. You can see here the spores can be round, some of them are oval, and some of them are bulging out of the bacterial cell, and some of them are not bulging, they are restricted within the bacterium. And you can see that their positions also are varying. Some are terminal, that is, they are to the one end of the bacteria. Some of them are subterminal, a little away from the end, and some of them are central in position. So these are the pictures showing Clostridium with oval, some of them having oval spores, some of them having spherical spores, and their positions are also different. They can be central, subterminal, so on. These are the spores of Bacillus. We don't bulge out of the bacterial cell. And how are bacterial spores killed? If the bacterial spores are present in the instruments which you're using in the hospital to take care of the patient to perform the surgery, it's very dangerous. So you can kill these spores by sterilization methods like autoclave and hot air oven, or by using chemicals like glutaraldehyde and hydrogen peroxide. And how can you demonstrate the spore within the bacterial cell? By modified Ziehl-Neelsen staining. We already discussed about this. There are 3 steps in Ziehl-Neelsen staining. One is the primary stain, which is strong carbelfuchsin. Next is a decolorizer sulfuric acid. Here the decolorizer sulfuric acid concentration will be only 1%. And then the counter stain is with the methylene blue. And what are the uses of bacterial spores? Can we use it in any way? Yes. They are indicators for proper sterilization. I told you sterilization methods are methods to clear the instruments which we use during surgery to operate the patient, to make them free of bacteria and bacterial spores. So to check or not whether the sterilization process was good, has happened properly or not, we can use the spores. If they are killed, that means the sterilization process is complete. If not, it was incomplete. So spores of Geobacillus stereothermophilus are used as sterilization control for autoclave. Spores of Clostridium tetani are used as sterilization control for hot air oven. So you have seen that bacteria are oval, they are spherical, they are rod shaped. But sometimes some bacteria are either they exist as involution forms, that is they become swollen, they become irregular in shape. Why? When they are present in for a long duration in certain cultures, or when they produce certain autolytic enzymes by themselves. Autolytic enzymes are destructive enzymes which are produced by bacteria themselves, which will kill the bacteria, seen in Gonococcus and Yersinia. Then some bacteria are pleomorphic, that is they exhibit variation in their size and shape. Some of them are very long rod shaped, some are short rods, some are round, and so on. Examples of such bacteria, Proteus and Haemophilus. So you can see the involution forms, the swollen aberrant forms of here, the topmost picture, and pleomorphic bacteria picture, which is the bottom. And there are certain L forms which are cell wall deficient forms. Example is Mycoplasma. Thank you.